We, the Jewish community, trade unionists, Labour members and others here today should be proud of what happened in the Battle of Cable Street. The Jewish community was blamed for the ongoing economic problems as a way to whip up racism and division. It showed that fascism could be resisted through communities united across ethnic and cultural divides. We've got to remember it's as relevant in 2016, 80 years on as it was in 1936, because I'm afraid there are still people today who try and divide our communities.
Unity is when we respect differences, when we acknowledge that everybody has the right within their own space to do as they wish, according to their culture, according to their faith, according to their tradition, as long as they are not a threat to our society.
It's obviously of particular importance to Jews who had family who grew up in the East End. It was an historic moment really of self-defence and had great practical implications in terms of leading to changes in legislation.
I'm really proud of the fact that I represent an area that is what it is because of the struggle of particularly the British Jewish community in their fight against fascism and anti-Semitism.
It's so important to understand our history. It's so important to recognise that actually history tells us that there are people who want to divide our communities, but also history tells us a route map into how you defeat them. And how is that? Solidarity, people coming together, people building bridges rather than walls. And you know, some of the people I've met today who are those who were there in 1936, they're the children or the grandchildren. We should recognise the huge contribution they made to London as we know it now.
So I call on all of you not just to enjoy today, but to make sure that your friends, that your family, your workplaces all understand this battle. They understand what it meant and they understand the fight that we now have to have next, because we are not done fighting.
There is something deeply disturbing about the government proposal that we heard last week to name and shame firms that employ foreigners. In the trade union movement, we don't tolerate abuse of Muslims or the LGBT community or disabled people, nor should we tolerate abuse of Jewish people.
A battle not just for Cable Street or for Jews or against fascism, but for the very nature of a diverse Britain. It's now our turn to muster just a fraction of the courage shown by these veterans that we are honouring today.
Unfortunately, I was only 8 years old when Cable Street took place, and if there's something we were taught was, do not take any prisoners. And we didn't, and it took us 2 years to knock Sir Oswald Mosley off the streets for good. And I thank everybody here today for the most wonderful gift you have given me. Thank you very much.